have one announcement that I will make in a minute.
Okay. Glad you're here, whether you're in the sanctuary today or anywhere in the world. I'm Lori Straw. I'm one of your representatives on the Board of Trustees. If you're a visitor, we hope you'll sign one of our guest books either at the entrance of the sanctuary or visit our webpage at www.westhartforduu.org to learn more. There you can use the contact page to get onto our electronic mailing list. Our electronic communications are the best way for us to stay connected. We look forward to helping you become part of the Universalist Church. We're in the season of increased respiratory illnesses, so our ushers have masks to share if you need or would prefer one. We encourage everyone to be careful with your health and the health of others. I'll turn over to
Reverend Joy Christie has asked me to remind you all that the Adult Education and Pastoral Care series Dancing with Death starts on March 2nd. It is a 9-week series, so it's kind of a big commitment, but it should be a really worthwhile and useful program for anybody who has to think about, which is kind of all of us, what death is, means, and how we deal with it. So you can sign up for this on the sign-up board. It's behind the sanctuary as you go out. You'll see a big blue bulletin board with a sign above it that says "Sign up here." So please visit there, see what is going on, and sign up to take this class with Joy Christie and the pastoral care folks. Thank you.
Great. And after worship, we'll have fellowship in Fisk Hall and through Zoom. If you need help finding your way to Fisk Hall for our fellowship hour, any member of the church will be happy to guide you. Just look for someone wearing a Universalist Church name tag. You will find the link for Zoom in your weekly news or our Breeze calendar. And if you aren't getting the weekly news, please sign up for it on our website. And now, I invite you to take a moment to make your mobile phones silent, turn off your email, and put away your keyboards and settle in for worship.
Hearing little cries of yay from the background sounds great. I agree. I am glad we are here too. If you happen to have your home chalice available, please light it as I light ours here in the sanctuary. We come together today in worship called by many needs. The need to step away from our daily lives, for inspiration, for peace, for a reminder of what is beyond this place and time. We come together because of the need to engage the world as it truly is, with sorrow and joy and uncertainty, with its injustice and justice, with our hearts and minds and hands. We come together with the need to learn and grow through words or song or silence. So together, may we find transformation born of all of these needs. A transformation within ourselves, yes, but also a transformation that travels beyond each of us, into all of us, making this world more like paradise every day. Our opening hymn is number 1060 in the blue hymnal, number 1060, as we sing of hope and joy. Please rise in body or in spirit in the sanctuary or wherever you are as we sing together. Let's join together in speaking the words of our affirmation, our covenant. It's printed in the order of service and the description online. Love is the spirit of this church, and service is its law. This is our great covenant, to dwell together in peace, to seek the truth in love, and to help one another. Please be seated. Our time for all ages today is a story by Kim Stafford called We Got Here Together. So, now you get settled, and I'm going to tell you a story. Once, in the deepest ocean, there was a little fish. And that fish opened its mouth and let a bubble go. And at the same moment, a cloud, high over the ocean, let a raindrop go. Way down in the deep, that bubble started its journey to the surface. And high in that sky, the raindrop started down. Would you be afraid? I might be afraid. But nothing can hurt a raindrop. And nothing can hurt a bubble. They belong where they are going. So for a long time, that bubble drifted up through the water without a thought, bumping a seal belly, bouncing off a leaf of seaweed, rolling through the blue, floating toward that big ceiling of light above. And that raindrop, well, that raindrop was spinning dizzily down, sliding along the shoulder of the wind, tumbling toward that silver field of water below. They took so long, falling down and soaring up, and in that they grew. The bubble swelled and filled with light, and the raindrop gathered more water, ready and round and fat. And somehow, they were aimed for the exact same moment in time. And they got there together. And then, well, what were they? The bubble reached the surface and it opened, and it turned out the bubble was the entire sky. And the raindrop hit down and opened, and suddenly it was the entire ocean. And there they were, the sky and the ocean right where they belonged, right where they always were. And you and I, we got here together too. We got here safe in this wonderful morning light, right where we belong too. And that is one version of the story, because this story happens again and again and again to different bubbles and different raindrops and different yous and different me's, I suppose, too. Let's sing our children and their teachers out to their classes, please. We will keep a place for you wherever you may go. We'll live in this home of faith and love you come to know. Go in peace, bring hope to hearts that yearn. We will keep a place for you till you return. The voluntary offering, the sharing of our resources for our shared work as a religious community, is a spiritual practice for us. By offering your time, talent, and treasure to this community, you help us to serve our members and our friends and make a difference in the wider community to which we belong. So as part of that service, we share our general offering each week with organizations that do work in the world that bring us ever closer to creating beloved community. So this month we share our offering with the Unitarian Universalist Service Committee, also known as the UUSC. It is a nonprofit, non-sectarian organization advancing human rights together with an international community of grassroots partners and advocates. They advance human rights and social justice by confronting unjust power structures and mobilizing to challenge oppressive policies. Their work is grounded in the idea that all people have inherent power and dignity. You can give electronically by using the QR codes on your order of service, the links in the description, or those on our website to make your donation to our offering. And here in the sanctuary, our offering will now be gratefully received. May these gifts, so generously given, sustain the work that we do together, our work in the wider world of which we are a part, and the life of this community as well. Thank you. Thank you. Please rise in body or in spirit as we speak our congregational reading. It's number 602 in the gray hymnal, number 602, If There Is to Be Peace. I'll read the words in Roman type, and together we'll speak the words in italics. If there is to be peace in the world, there must be peace in the nations. And if there is to be peace in the nations, then there must be peace in the cities. If there is to be peace in the cities, there must be peace between neighbors. If there is to be peace between neighbors, there must be peace in the home. If there is to be peace in the home, there must be peace in the heart. Let's join together in singing our doxology. Please be seated. As we begin our time of prayer and meditation, I do have a couple of things to share with you. First, longtime member Judy B. is at Autumn Lake in Cromwell in some rehab and appreciates your prayers for her health and recovery and would love to have some cards from folks. So if you don't know who that is and you need to know, please come ask me. But if you do, of course, know Judy B., please do send her a card. I know that she would love to hear from us and be encouraged in her recovery. I also need to share with you that there is going to be a vigil on this Wednesday at 6 p.m. at the Capitol. It's organized by Q+ and Equality Connecticut. And it's to remember Nex Benedict, a non-binary youth who was attacked in their school by other students and then died the next day. I believe this was Oklahoma. If I've got that wrong, please correct me, but I believe it was in Oklahoma. We know that language and laws and policies that demean one another, that harm our trans and non-binary kids, that harm anybody, can result in great tragedy. And here we see it happening once again. So as we hold Nex in our hearts, and hopefully some of us can go to the vigil, let's also remember that this is not just one person's problem, but that this is happening again and again across our country. And it needs to stop. Please join me in a moment of prayer. We are, at the core, creatures of relationship. Our cells have lives that depend on other cells. The air around us, the food and water we take in, we exist in nets of connection. Our lives ever changing but supported by these connections, by one another, by the mystery in which we live. In our celebrations and in our sorrows, in the support we offer to one another, our presence together is sacred. In the light and in the shadows, in the joys and the sorrows, holiness exists. And so wherever we are, whatever we're experiencing, may we find comfort and love and divine compassion together. Let us take a moment in stillness together to hear the prayers of our own hearts. We live in a world that is both wonderful and difficult. And so much of whether it is one or the other depends on us. So let us grow ever more aware of our connections to the earth, to humanity, to the whole of life, to that which we hold sacred, so that as we pay attention to our relatedness, we are able to hear the call of the holy in our own hearts too. May it be so. Amen.
Our first reading is from abolitionist, suffragette, Unitarian, and one of the first Black women writers published in the U.S., Frances Ellen Watkins Harper. Welcome, peace, thou blessed evangel. Welcome to this war-cursed land. O'er the weary waiting millions, let thy banner be unfurled. On the burning brow of anger, lay thy gentle, soothing hand. Say to carnage and destruction, ye shall cease to blight the land. Plead in tones of love and mercy, mid the battle's crash and roar, till the nations new created learn the art of war no more. Our second reading is by the first ordained woman Universalist minister of Euro-American descent, Olympia Brown. We can never make the world safe by fighting. Every nation must learn that the people of all nations are children of God and must share the wealth of the world. You may say this is impracticable, far away, can never be accomplished. But it is the work we are appointed to do. Sometime, somehow, somewhere, we must ever teach this great lesson. Our third reading is 7 Steps to Heaven Haiku by Tony Medina. If every bomb appeared in the sky a dove, shrapnel into rain. If vengeance vanquished from the cursed lips of weak men, an idea never taking root. If every tank vanished, if by chance a miracle, peace reclaims the land. If laughter broke out, like wars fought with satires, pugilist punning, what room would there be for anger? What bitter root not allowed to stretch its tentacles through the hearts of men hardened by indifference? What will we bequeath our children, if not a world ever more human?
When Hamas attacked Israel in October, I was horrified. And in the days of fear and heartbreak afterward, I was horrified. And when Israel began to decimate Gaza, I was horrified. And every day since, I have been horrified. The absolute cruelty of the powerful and the armed on any and all sides is truly devastating. Even just to witness it from here, to be caught up in it, I honestly can't comprehend. I don't know how to make sense of a world in which that is happening. And so after all of this began, it didn't take long before the pundits and the politicians and people on social media started to declare whose side they were on, and to start demanding that others of us do the same. People that I know from various professional circles, religion, academia, social change advocacy, soon also felt the need to make declarations, regardless of whether they have any connection to Israel or Gaza, regardless of whether they knew anything about what was happening or not. There was this constant question: whose side are you on? Whose side are you on? Whose side are you on? And every time this question was asked, I watched some people rush to answer, and other people become very, very still and start to panic. And some people look like they were being torn in half by the question itself. To be clear, I understand why this question, is being asked. I understand why it's being asked again and again and again, because I think underneath that question is the real one. People want to know, do you believe that I am human? Do you believe that a Jewish person, an Israeli, is human? Do you believe that a Palestinian person is human? Given the situation, it's an understandable question. Anti-Semitism and Islamophobia are real and have terrible, devastating effects. We have seen it again and again and again. I have family history and personal connections to a variety of sides in this. I, too, have felt like I've been torn in half by this question every time that I've heard it. And then one day, I realized I didn't actually agree with any of the answers or the frameworks of those answers that I was expected to give. The answers that people wanted to hear. Because my answer is actually pretty simple, and it cuts right across the conflict in all of these expected answers. I am on the side of the people who have been harmed. I am on the side of the people who just wanted to enjoy a music festival, or work on their farm, or go to the market and the hospital and the school and rest safely at home at the end of the day. In this conflict, I am not on the side of anyone with weapons and bombs, who has power that lets them move through the world as though everyday human beings don't matter, who have the kinds of money and authority that allows them to be comfortable with perpetuating harm again and again and again. In case it's not clear, I am not on the side of Hamas or the government of Israel. This all reminds me of too much when I lived in Ireland and I visited the north. It was really, really clear to me then that all of these armed checkpoints and listening devices and barbed wire had nothing to do with how most people wanted to live. Whether they were Protestant or Catholic, English or Irish or newly Northern Irish, most people just wanted to be able to go and live their lives safely. But there was a relatively small crowd of people on both political sides that had taken up religious and ethnic identity and talked that up as though that was the most important thing. But this small group of people on both sides, they really had power and weapons and money because they kept the conflict going. So they kept stoking these fires of rage and hatred because it was profitable for them, because it kept them powerful. No matter how much your average person in Belfast simply wanted to be safe when going to work or school or shopping. I am on the side of people who just want to get through the day safely. That doesn't mean that there aren't injustices, right? That doesn't mean that there haven't been terrible things done by multiple people on multiple sides of any particular issue. But I am not on the side of the people with power and money and weapons that make them feel like they can do whatever they want to anyone they want. So when this question is asked, whose side are you on? I say I am on the side of the people who just want to get through the day safely. Olympia Brown, the first woman ordained as a Universalist minister in this country, wrote, "We can never make the world safe by fighting." You may say this is impracticable, far away, can never be accomplished, but this is the work that we are appointed to do. Sometime, somehow, somewhere, we must ever teach the great lesson. We can never make the world safe by fighting. Here is a terrible truth about what it is to be human. Sometimes we must use force to stop something awful from happening. Ukraine has to fight back against Russia in order to remain free. Nations needed to fight the Axis powers in World War II to stop fascists and those who would have overtaken the whole world. But just because we sometimes have to use force doesn't mean that force, that war, is good. It is a terrible thing that sometimes must happen to stop other terrible things. And we must not use it indiscriminately. In fact, we know humanity has declared some things are off limits even in war because they are too terrible to be done, too devastating to allow. War cannot create safety or peace. World War II didn't make the world safe. It stopped some truly horrifying harm. It stopped the Holocaust. But the war didn't make the world safe. What changed Germany and Japan was the way in which people went in and said, let's help make these places better places. Let's not let these people just rot. Let us do what we can to help correct the harm of this war. It was not the war that changed these countries. It was helping people afterward have the ability to just simply live normal daily lives. Having a nation or impenetrable borders is not what makes people safe. It is relationship and kindness and respect and the ability to live well enough with one's daily needs. That's what increases safety. It is the ability of normal people to put a stop to greed and oppression and cruelty. That increases safety. And this is true whether we're talking about Israel and Gaza or Northern Ireland or various active conflicts around the world or Oklahoma or our own struggling neighborhoods in cities across the United States. Peace is not established as the result of constant and ongoing overwhelming force. That's devastation, it's repression, and it may be that overwhelming force is necessary to stop great harm. But when that force becomes perpetual and causes more great harm, it has betrayed its own purpose. Peace is built through relationships. Safety is built through active and engaged community. Borders are not peace. Nations are not safety. Checkpoints and blockades and guns and armored vehicles are not peace, and they are not safety. There may be moments where they're necessary, but they do not make us secure. Giving people the ability to thrive where they are will do more to create peace than anything else, because most people, most of us, just want to get through the day with enough food and water and rest and education and health care and the ability to decide for themselves how they will do that. Frances Ellen Watkins Harper, an African-American woman author first published in 1845, wrote, "Welcome, peace, thou blessed evangel. Welcome to this war-cursed land. O'er the weary waiting millions, let thy banner be unfurled. On the burning brow of anger, lay thy gentle, soothing hand. Say to carnage and destruction, ye shall cease to blight this land. Plead in tones of love and mercy, mid the battle's crash and roar, till the new nations created learn the art of war no more." I would love a world that learned war no more. That's not where we are today. But I also don't want a false peace. I don't want what comes with the elimination of inconvenient or otherwise unwanted people, because that's not peace. We know this from our own American history, how the indigenous people of this land were harmed by the settlers and the government. The effects and harms of those events are still a part of our own experience today. That's not the peace that I want. I want real peace. I want the peace that Frances Ellen Watkins Harper writes about, the peace that Olympia Brown tells us will create a world worth living in. The kind of peace that allows us to find our places as part of the sky or the ocean, instead of as disconnected individuals hoping to get through a dangerous and difficult world. I want the sort of peace that the choir sang about. The peace that comes because we are safe, because we have sanctuary in our spaces and with one another. And I want that peace for all of us, for each and every and all of us, for the Palestinians in Gaza and the Israelis on the kibbutz, for the families struggling to make it in Hartford or way out in the country, for the trans kids in the states where the laws are so very wrong, and where women in states are being told they don't control their own bodies anymore. I am on the side of the people who just want to get through the day safely. I want there to be a ceasefire in Gaza and in Israel. And I want there to be a massive worldwide ceasefire. A ceasefire that stops the bombs and the guns and the cruelty. I am now and always on the side of the people who just want to get through the day safely. You may come to different answers than I have when these questions are asked. My answers come because of my own experiences, what I have seen in all sorts of parts of the world. Your answers will come as a result of your own experience and wondering. That's what happens when we look at the world and try to make sense of it in communities where we embrace difference. But I would ask you to remain open to a few thoughts and maybe encourage others to do the same. If all of us could remember that these conflicts are far less often truly between your normal, everyday people, and instead are perpetrated on us by those who profit from it in money or in power, then perhaps we would be better able to refuse their insistence that we keep causing harm, that we keep supporting causing harm. And if we could remember that, maybe we would be better able to require of the people with money and power and weapons. Maybe we could require of them greater care and respect for the rest of us. If we could truly hear all our own cries for peace and safety, the ones in our own homes or the ones next door, in the next neighborhood or town or state or nation, we might actually be able to create the peace and the safety that so many of us long for. Tony Medina writes, "If every bomb appeared in the sky a dove, shrapnel into rain, if vengeance vanquished from the cursed lips of weak men an idea never taking root, if every tank vanished, and if by chance a miracle peace reclaims the land, if laughter broke out like wars fought with satire's pugilist punning, what room would there be for anger? What bitter root, not allowed to stretch its tentacles through the hearts of men hardened by indifference? What will we bequeath our children, if not a world ever more human?" When the question is asked, whose side are you on? And you struggle to find an answer that is true, comfortable, compassionate. Know that you are not alone in that struggle. In the face of a world that is so complex and so difficult, we are all trying to figure out how to answer and how to live. May we do that with compassion for ourselves, and for every other human being on this planet. May it be so. Amen. Our closing hymn is number 142 in the gray hymnal. Please rise in body or in spirit as we sing together. Let us speak together our unison benediction. It's in your order of service and the description online. Engage with the world in peace. Have courage. Hold on to what is good. Return to no person evil for evil. Strengthen the faint-hearted. Support the weak. Help the suffering. Honor all beings. Please be seated and remain for our postlude.